It's Thursday, January 29th. Tonight, the Cooperative Extension helps farmers market their products in new ways. Next on North Carolina Now.
North Carolina Now is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC TV. The North Carolina Cooperative Extension feature in this episode of North Carolina Now is produced by UNC TV in association with North Carolina Cooperative Extension. The Circus Theater feature in this episode of North Carolina Now is produced by the UNC School of the Arts, with funding provided by the A.J. Fletcher Foundation, Thomas S. Keenan Institute for the Arts, and William R. Keenan Jr. Fund for the Arts. Funding for the Fitness Files is provided in part by the Tom Howe Fund for UNC TV.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mitchell Lewis. Thanks for joining us. Tonight on North Carolina Now, we'll continue our series on the UNC SA Circus Theater Project, and we'll preview a new series coming to UNC TV, which profiles fitness opportunities across our state. But first, North Carolina Cooperative Extension has been serving the citizens of our state for 100 years. As part of our ongoing series to commemorate their work, tonight we have a story about a family farm in northern Orange County that brings local food to your door. Last summer, producer Donna Campbell visited Coon Run Farm and Bella Bean Organics. Here's the story narrated by Bobby Dobbs.
These are heritage breed pasture-aged pigs. The daddy is a Berkshire. This one's a Hampshire. We've got Berkshire Mamas, Poland Chinas, different of the old-timey heritage breeds.
Coon Run Farm is a sustainable family farm on 55 acres in northern Orange County, operated for more than 120 years along a bend in the Eno River. Today, it is owned and operated by Richard Holcomb and his wife, Jamie DeMent. It was named generations ago for a very large rock formation that became a landmark for travelers.
If you go down to the river near where the rock is, you can see where the ancient road is that goes through that the Native Americans used and then the colonists used. Travelers would stop there. It's one of the deepest parts of the river. It's a swimming hole. You can dive off of it, and it's always covered in raccoons because people hang out there and they eat, and you know, there's always everybody leaves a piece of their pimento cheese sandwich, you know, whatever.
Jamie and Richard are natives of North Carolina. Both grew up in farm communities, but never thought they would be making a living as farmers.
I'm from eastern North Carolina, from Franklin County. My family has been there for generations. My father's family owned the farm supply for the county. I grew up in town, kind of prissy, but around farms, and kind of had a front row seat for a really interesting and kind of depressing time for farming in North Carolina, where, you know, a lot of the small tobacco farmers were shutting things down, and just in general, a lot of family farmers were getting out of the business and going into other things.
So I grew up in a little town called Whiteville. It was a tobacco community. It was a great place to grow up. My father owned a feeder pig operation. We had a big garden. A lot of the aunts and uncles and relatives had tobacco, corn, soybean operations, and it was a great way to live. I graduated from NC State with a degree in computer science. Went to work for a local company for a couple of years, and then pretty much started my own software company. It grew to be fairly large, sold it, and did another one, and sold it, and did another one. And one day I'm 40 looking around going, you know, I've seen this PowerPoint presentation before. I'm not sure this is what I want to continue doing. You know, we started out with a quarter-acre garden that was mainly feeding us and feeding the restaurant that I co-owned in Raleigh. It was called Zelly and Ritz. And then from that, customers started saying, wow, this is a really good pork chop. This is really fantastic broccoli. Where can we buy the ingredients? So I started emailing the restaurant list for, you know, here's the meal that we're going to serve on Friday night. And by the way, if you want the ingredients, you can pick those up at the same time. And then we added farmers markets, and then we started a CSA.
CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. Customers buy shares of a farm's harvest in advance. According to Cooperative Extension, there are more than 100 CSAs operating in North Carolina. The concept that started in Japan in the 1960s has been very successful for small farms like Coon Run.
And some people just love it. They just love the surprise of opening the box and seeing something that looks like an alien and finding out that it's kohlrabi and how do you cook kohlrabi, and there's a recipe, and then other people hate it. They open the box and they look at the kohlrabi and go, I don't know what to do with this and I don't want it. And there's no way in a classic CSA to not get the things that you don't want. So the way Bella Bean works, you can pick different boxes or you can just order exactly what you want.
Customers can access our website, and our marketplace is open from Wednesday at noon to Friday at 5. So folks sign in, and we've got
Richard and Jamie now own and operate Bella Bean Organics, what they call an online farmers market.
Folks order, and then Friday at 5, Jamie processes all those orders and sends emails to the growers and the artisans and says, this is what we need.
Workers at Bella Bean, including Jamie's mother and Richard's daughter, collect fresh, organic produce, as well as baked goods, local cheeses, and other regional treats at their Durham distribution center.
Everything in it is local, organically grown, and in season. So this week we've got tomatoes over here that Mark is packing from a small farm in Momeyer.
This is small batch applesauce, homemade, just like you would make in your own kitchen, and it is fabulous.
And these are the baby reds. And then we got these awesome multicolored carrots. It's the beginning of carrot season. They've got these beautiful greens that are great for making a pesto.
It's actually more efficient, fuel-wise, time-wise, energy-wise, for us to deliver what everybody who's going to a farmer's market wants directly to their door than it is for 1,000 people to get in their car and drive to the farmer's market. We're spending way less fuel, energy, dollars, and time with an optimized delivery route than everybody going to the farmer's market. Not bashing farmers markets, we do those too. It's a great social experience as well as a way of interacting directly with the farmer. But we find that in this healthy food, organic food, local food movement, there are people with different needs. Some of those needs are, I'm busy, I'm a doctor, I'm a surgeon, I'm a lawyer, I've got 5 children, for some reason I just don't have the free time to go and spend 2 or 3 hours at the farmer's market, or even go and spend an hour shopping at Whole Foods. Delivering it to my door is what I need. And we find more and more customers migrating to that approach and away from the traditional CSA approach.
We're all from Eastern North Carolina. We're all from small towns. It's important to all of us. It's close to our hearts, and once you start eating good food, it's really hard to go back, And there's so many reasons why, America's facing issues and health disparities, and it really does all come back to your diet. Sometimes it's just really nice to open a box that comes at your door and see something that's beautiful and know that your neighbor grew it.
Our world is changing, and the way that we eat has to start changing with it. I mean, we broke the agricultural system 50 years ago. We, as America, broke it, and we industrialized it, and we made it way too big. And we need to say, okay, how do we start fixing this? How do we start educating people so that they're making healthy choices? And how do we make people understand that their food decisions are directly tied to their health and directly tied to, to the outcome of their whole lives? And I think that, one of the first steps in doing that is to get to know your farmer and know where your food comes from, and, to buy as local as you possibly can, because, at the end of the day, supporting the community you're in is one of the most important things you can do. It's just a great way to live, and it's a useful way to live. Not to denigrate anything I did before, but if I had to choose what to write on my tombstone, successful software entrepreneur or, reasonably decent farmer, I'd much rather be known as the reasonably decent farmer.
And as if they aren't busy enough, Jamie and Richard are also growing food for their Durham restaurant, Piedmont. We'll learn more about that in a future episode. They also have expanded their online delivery service with Heirloom Provisions, taking North Carolina products all over the country. You can read more on our website.